Alright guys, here we are. It's time for an update on the arena. It's just me today. This is the first time I've tried to record solo, so bear with me. I built this tunnel one evening when I was unable to sleep. There was a preliminary tunnel that had been floored out, not finished. So, at 11 o'clock at night I couldn't sleep, got up and just did it. It's not perfect. The lights on either side are not properly lined up, which is a bit of a problem. And why is there a minecart halfway down the way? I should fix that. Once you get on the straightaways, everything's properly lined up. I may go back and fix that, I may not. It's not really a big deal. And this I built. Kind of a boring day here. I should mention, it's been almost a month since the last time there was a video about the arena, so things have changed quite a bit. And you'll see what in just a moment. Well, first of all, it has walls. We cleared out this open area in front, we flattened it, we made it even. These rocks, buttons, are proof of concept. I did the designing, and we made the arches. There was quite an interesting story behind that. Well, I'll explain the whole thing in a bit, but these interior arches, or interior curves, go all the way around, and they're going to be the side walls for the arena itself. These will be on fire, and there will be banners in these rectangles. I think we did the math and found that there was 48 of them at least, so we have plenty of room to fill things in. Now for the fun part. When we were doing all those measurements and tests and figuring out how big it was going to be, we made a very vital error. The distance from the far side to this side, in other words, the size of the arena, was actually 99 blocks and not 98, which means that everything we did mathematically was off by 1, or by 1/2, depending on whether we were using the half or the whole. So, the first way this manifested was when we were trying to build the front wall and put the arches in, and we discovered that it didn't line up properly. Now, the way that it didn't line up was basically the same as it is now, because that error was not fixed properly because we didn't realize what the problem was. But we ended up having this wall on this block rather than where it is now, and we had built the whole thing all the way up to the top, so, and that wall as well, so we had to tear the whole thing down. That was quite fun, believe me. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will be able to spot why this is not correct. I'll go over here to the observation platform that was constructed briefly to see if you can see it. But it's not that obscure. There was a lot of brain power put into this and figuring out what the problem was. We had probably a half-hour discussion of what the problem was. Go over to the middle, and as the eagle-eyed among you will notice, it is not perfectly numerically balanced. This side has, I believe, 1 block less than this side, and that was not something that we were able to properly fix. If I would go back and do it again, I'd make the center arch 1 wider, and then everything would line up, but in this case, I probably will, eventually, but not right this second. Oh, I didn't break the wheat, that was amazing. Anyway, the whole building has walls now, all the way around. Some of the exterior detailing has been done. Like this side, the entrance side, has been done. This isn't exactly the same pattern as on the other side, the side that I had done previously that we were showing in the last videos, which I will go over and show you right now. But that design that I had made does not lend itself well to diagonal designs. And getting the one we currently have was a challenge in and of itself. Actually, I think I spent more than two hours just figuring out how this was going to look anything remotely similar to what we had before. And of course, the cactus line. Keep the mobs from that side off. But this is what the wall looks like. We don't have an observation tower on this side, but we do have this. That hole up there is going to be where the balcony level is. But, yeah, we gotta find out something to do with the lighting. Not sure what we're going to do. We might put in some lit glowstone into the beams in the center, because that's where all the problems would be. Looking at that, it doesn't... Yeah, it's proper. But there's a one wide door here instead of two now, because we realized that the width problem permeated the entire structure. And the only way we eventually figured that out was by using some of these towers right here, because of the way that the exterior wall was supposed to line up. These towers needed to be one block in from this corner diagonally, so they needed to be right here-ish. Now this one ended up being right here because we moved it later, but our next major change since last time is the design with the opening gates. This is a prototype, it's not done, it's not what it's going to be, but this is not what the original plan I was describing in the last few videos was. This is not an actual hyperbolic curve, and I figured out rather quickly that hyperbolic curves in 3 dimensions are extremely difficult to do in pixel art. So we decided to abandon that particular idea. This curve idea was based on the needs we had, that where the spectators were going to sit up here at the top, or stand as the case may be, if they were on the very edge of the platform, we wanted them to be able to see as much of the field as possible. Now, that would be difficult if we had it curve out and then down, rather than down and then out, because I don't have any blocks, I'll just use some of these. I can put those back later, it's not a big deal. But if we had it go out and then down, and you're standing back here, you notice it blocks the view of a good fifth of the stage. And that's not what the object of this was. It needed to look good, but it also needed to be functional. Now that balcony up there is where all the spectators will be. There will be other buildings in this area, or not buildings, rooms. Storage rooms, food generating rooms, like this chicken machine will probably be around somewhere. There'll probably be a armor room and such. Behind the scenes stuff, but that will come later, so once we get the whole thing figured out. Let's put these blocks back. If you will notice, this level is slightly different than this level back here. And that is not entirely by design, but works fine with it, because we're going to have it have sort of a step upwards, somewhat further back that way. And now for the middle of the field. It's mycelium, and it wasn't mycelium last time. that was Ixius's idea, to use mycelium, and since mycelium does not spread onto grass blocks, it was quite an adventure getting it to spread all the way around. We had to use a hoe and just hoe the grass until there was enough unregular dirt to cover the space, and then slowly inch it across this field, and then make sure there was no other grass block around it. Which is quite fun to do when there's no lighting on the field and all the mobs in the area spawn there. We got several records, we blew up many things, and I don't think either of us died, but it came close a couple times. Nothing quite like 5 creepers running up behind you at the same time and you not being aware of it. Thankfully they killed each other, but it was not easy. Now for these rooms, we have an existing room over there that was built several months ago by the original designers. We kind of decided, because there's 4 colors, red, green, blue, and yellow, that this room didn't quite fit the bill because, as you'll notice, there's yellow in here, and yellow over here, and the sand is yellow, and the end stone is yellow, and then there's this yellow stripe, and then all the orange as well, orange being half yellow, and there's hardly any red in here. So Ixius decided to create a bunch of designs for each room built on other ideas rather than just color. For instance, green was to be paired with brown and have a natural feel, and blue was paired with quartz white and ice, and it had sort of a clean-cut look. Yellow would have some tannish and also yellow and gray and be industrial, and such ideas like that. I don't remember red off the top of my head. I think it was red and black, actually. There were some coal blocks involved. But those ideas he has designed them, and that was done a while ago. We just haven't had enough time with the holidays to actually get on and do it. I've been collecting all the blocks needed. There was an expedition out to the ice spike biome to get the packed ice that was needed for the blue. I did some mesa mining to get the clay we needed, and all sorts of other things along those lines, collecting all the blocks. For future plans for the arena, I'm kind of at a standstill because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to use the interior space. I have several ideas and I haven't decided between them, and I don't know if I can accurately describe them without pictures, and I can't draw pictures, so we'll just have to wait and see. But here's a side effect of the arena being the wrong size. When this tunnel was built, this tunnel has actually been moved over by 1 block, as you can see right here. Months ago, when this tunnel was originally built, they didn't realize that the thing was the wrong size, so it was off to one side and nobody seemed to notice. Somebody had mentioned something and it didn't get dealt with, and there were a lot of things going on that nobody really understood. Later on, when we were trying to figure this out, it kind of came to light that the reason the original construction stopped was because there was a major flaw that nobody could figure out what was. Things weren't lining up properly, and in combination with Christmas time being over and the year starting again and everything being busy, nobody really wanted to continue because they weren't quite sure how to fix the problem, because they didn't know exactly what the problem was. And that's understandable, because when you get a problem that makes you stop and scratch your head and you can't figure out how to get around it, well, those are not fun to recover from. I suspect that we're going to use some amount of dark oak for the top balcony. I had originally decided to use quartz. As you can see, there's quartz up there. But quartz is very white, highly white, and very contrasty. Very contrasting against this nether brick, and that probably wouldn't be a good idea. Plus, the original idea was to have the inside of the arena, except the floor where everybody's fighting, be fairly dark, obscure, hidden, and not very bright. So we decided, or I decided this, that we probably should use dark oak, like they were trying down there. Not sure how the design's going to be, but we'll figure that out as we go along. As for the roof is one of those big things that's probably going to have the issue rear its ugly head again, because we didn't completely fix the underlying issue. We filled in one row on both two walls to make the floor 98 by 98 the way it should be, but that does not change the fact that the building itself was constructed around 99 by 99, which means technically some of these walls are off place, and it's actually this wall and this wall that are in the wrong place. So there is little impetus on my part to tear down another wall and start over again, because I've already done that once and it was not fun. But there's a very good possibility that when we put the roof on this place, the dome will not line up properly over the field. And if it does, it will show up, it will be obvious on the outside when you're looking at it from afar. And I don't really want that to be. I don't think anybody does. We haven't decided how we're going to put the roof on. We know there's going to be a dome over the middle, and that's about all we know. We don't know how the ceiling interior is going to be done. We don't know how the rafters are going to lay. We don't know any of that stuff because it's been busy with Thanksgiving. So we're going to have to work on that as well. Hopefully that will be in the next few videos, and if not, we'll find something else to do. That's about it for the arena, really. There's a lot of stuff that is very minimal and not exactly spectacular that's been going on. I went and found a donkey. I don't know why I found a donkey. I think I found it wandering over in that direction. We've taken down the tree farms because we built the whole wall and there wasn't really a lot of need for it, and also it was in the way of these things. We've gotten some stuff in the underground done. We gotta move that wall again. Yeah, that's about all we can say for the progress. I had laid out on the other side, over there, some circles on the ground level, on this level that I'm standing on right now, that I just jumped onto. There were circles that were defining just about where the dome was going to start in relation to the gates, because that was something we were going to need to make sure that we got enough sunlight onto the floor of the arena itself. Basically, the idea was when it has a corner, the corners over here would be no more than 8 blocks away from the edge of the ring, the dome. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was where the edge of the dome needed to be, and then to figure out from here how to get to the proper size for this was pretty trial and error. I think I drew 4 circles before I got the right one. But then those were also to the wrong size, so we had to tear them down. I don't know if there's any remnants of those still over there. I don't think so. But this place has been kind of left alone a bit for the last, since a week before Thanksgiving, just because there's been a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully we'll get back to it soon. And that's about all I can say for this place, for today. Hopefully when we come back we'll actually be working on it rather than just me running around talking about it, because I know I'm not exactly a very interesting person, but, you know, I try to make things interesting. That over there was something I built a long time ago, and it failed, but that doesn't need to be brought up. Alright, well, I guess I'll see you guys next time.